Hi, how's it going? Luciano Ruas from the Brazilian Accent Improvisation. And today I'm gonna answer one common question uh, that people often do in internet uh, I'm gonna say about the difference between samba and bossa nova. I realize that some people think bossa nova is a slow kind of samba, but it isn't. It's much more than that. And if we read for some Brazilian literature and search for patterns, we are gonna find some misfound information or disconnected information, I can say. And then and why I'm telling that this channel is about melodies, but I think you choose the melody you want to improvise in the language. You have to really be aware of this difference. Okay, I'm gonna talk about a little story of samba. Samba, we don't know exactly where it started in Brazil. Some people says that it started in Bahia, a northeast state, and others say it started in Rio de Janeiro. But the sure thing we have is that in Rio de Janeiro, samba was developed, and it started in the beginning of the 20th century. The first recording of samba happened on 1917. It's called of a song called Pelo Telefone, by the phone, by the composer Donga. Samba has a very percussive style, and it's common played by percussionists, guitar, acoustic guitar, and it's a music for dance, and always with lyrics, and we have a lot of types of samba today. The most famous and most known samba is the samba enredo, or samba de avenida, or avenue samba. This is the samba played by samba groups in carnival that we call escolas de samba, or samba schools. Okay, this samba has more than sometimes has more than 300 percussionists playing, and a singer, acoustic guitar, and cavaquinho, that's a soprano guitar, and 7-string guitar doing the bass lines. All right, we have Partido Alto. Partido Alto, it's a samba that has some improvising the verses. People used to improvise the lyrics with some humorous material. Okay, they improvise lyrics kidding with another singers, and they have a chorus that people sing together. Samba de roda, it's we call a ring of samba players, or circle samba. It's another style. We have samba de black, for example. Samba de black has humorous lyrics, and there is a moment in these sambas that the music stops and the singer counts a little story with some joking scene. You can see at my channel in YouTube. I have recorded a Samba de Black with a singer, and you can see there. a more modern kind of samba of the 50s is samba canção. That's slower kind of samba with less percussion, with lyrics from saying for love things, love pains often, and with great voices. For example, we have samba exaltação. That's a kind of samba that has lyrics about Brazil, about the beauties of Brazil, the environment, the landscapes, and there are some others like samba funky and another styles. I'm gonna tell a little about the metrics. The samba is in 2/4 measure, and people often out of Brazil thinks samba is on 4/4, and some people write in 2/2, but we think samba in common. It's common to find lead sheets here in 2/4, and I've heard somebody questioning because the tambourine pattern could take two measures, ta 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 ta, and we don't think the metrics of the samba, the measure of the samba, in 2/4 because of the tambourine, but because of the surdo, that it's slow drum of the samba. The surdo has it beats on time on the downbeat, and in the second tempo, then the second beat, it has an accent and emphasis. It's like that, pa tu ta tu ta tu ta tu ta. This is the reference we have of accentuation. Let's talk a little about more, because I think samba it's a polyrhythmic style, and it has 3 layers of rhythmic information. The first would be this that I told you, the surdo playing on the beat and the second beat during accentuation. The second is made by instruments that accentuate or emphasize the first and the fourth 16th note. It's called it's like a shaker. There are a lot of instruments that make this function, and we have the last one, the last layer, that is the syncopation. Ta 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 ta. Then first layer, ta tu ta tu ta tu ta tu. Second layer, ta 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 on the third layer. Okay, syncopation on the third layer. I'm gonna talk a little about instrumentation. Pandeiro, we have in samba we have pandeiro. It's a famous Brazilian instrument that people out of Brazil call Brazilian tambourine. That's an instrument you play with little with little plates, I think it's the name. Okay, we have pandeiro does this function of subdividing, like the second layer I told you. We have cuíca, it has a syncopation or effect function. We have a go-go, it's like a cowbell. Reco in this function of Reco does this function of subdivision. And tambourine, I think it does more this function of syncopation, but it also makes subdivisions in its patterns. And surdo, this is common use in samba groups, and in carnival groups we use surdo, caixa, that is a kind of snare drum, tarol, it's like also, but it's like a snare drum also, repinique, tamborim, chocalho e cuíca. Okay, if you want to know more about that, we are going to talk in my little tips, and I can show you patterns and using in an instrumental way. Okay. The harmony of samba is so simple. Samba started with simple harmonies with few chords, and we had one very important composer that contributed to samba harmony, that was Pixinguinha. Pixinguinha, it's the name of a very important Brazilian style, that's choro. And but samba still has, comparing to bossa nova, it's so simple, the harmony. We have five or six, 3 or 4 notes for each chord. Okay. I'm gonna show you a little how we transform samba to the piano, and show some important details for you that don't live in Brazil, don't know our music, and what's important to what's the important values of this music. Okay. I'm gonna imitate the surdo. I'm in C major playing the 1 and 5th. One important thing I realized that some bass players out of Brazil do, they think samba, they put the 5th up, and it doesn't sound it. And it doesn't sound authentic, because when we do this kind of bass line, we are imitating the surdo, and the surdo, we play the drum with the hand on the percussion, on the drum, pressing pa boom pa boom, and after that we don't press anymore, and the sound goes freely and it can sound. Then when we imitate, we do the first note with staccato playing, and the second with a large sound, and it's important to the second sound be lower than the first. Or if you're already in a lower part of your instrument, you can just repeat the note. For example, okay. This is very important to sound authentic, and some people out of Brazil don't realize this detail, or we often see this is not samba. It's because it's not making the function of any instrument in samba. Okay. I was talking about the also some instruments. For example, I'm gonna imitate always the surdo in the left hand. For example, in my right hand, I'm imitating now the tambourine. For example, we can imitate cuica also. This I'm playing could sound like a more modern samba because I'm using harmonies, richer harmonies, okay? But a traditional samba, you won't find this kind of harmonies, just triads and chords with 4 notes. What else I can show you? For example, the agogo function or the cowbell. We have sometimes tambourine use triplets also. Okay, in terms of making samba, we can use also syncopated compings. And fast sambas, it sounds very interesting. And the melody, like I said in other live, is very percussive, always made by syncopated lines, okay? For example, okay, if you want to know more about the melodies in samba, I have one live just teaching about this, speaking some more details about chromatism and how to get in the chords and more details. Okay, let's talk a little more now about bossa nova. Bossa nova, it's a style that came from samba. Sometimes some people says it's a type of samba, and it started on the end of the 50s. I think bossa nova it was a style created by the composers were searching for something new. It wasn't like samba and the other styles we don't know, and people was mixturing his or her style of playing and creating something new. Bossa Nova, there was music students and people interested in hearing what was interesting in jazz and in classical music, and trying to do new songs with that, with new values also. Like I said, in the 50s, there was a lot of famous samba canção singers, and these young people in this period, they were trying to create something new, something fresher, a music without sad lyrics. They were optimistic about the future, about the love, about the passion, and they want to make up songs counting stories about this context, and show and showing the beauties of Rio de Janeiro. It's a more happy music, more joyful music, and I can say the main composers of Bossa Nova and most important names of Bossa Nova are Tom Jobim, or Antônio Carlos Jobim. Tom, it's an abbreviation of Antonio. Tom Jobim was the great composer of this kind of music, with a lot of interesting lyrics and good harmonies and easy melodies to memorize. And the other important name of Bossa Nova was João Gilberto. João Gilberto created the groove we call the groove of Bossa Nova. There are some controversies about what is this groove, but I can show you the most known groove about Bossa is that. Sometimes it anticipates for the next measure. And so it goes. We often write and feel this music in 2/4 also, like the samba, okay. But like I showed you, the bass, you have two beats on time, but they doesn't accent like samba. They don't imitate the surdo, that's the low drum of samba. It's go smoother. I think the reference I could say that's like the cool jazz. The samba would sound like a more aggressive jazz, and Bossa Nova is cool, not so percussive. The common instrumentation or group for Bossa Nova, it's the drums played with brushes, the acoustic bass, the piano, the guitar, and somebody singing. This is common, or just a people playing the acoustic guitar and sing with using the groove of João Gilberto. We have other kinds of groove played for other guitar players, but this most known is João Gilberto's. and the difference, the harmony is very different. We can find a lot of chords without the fundamental or the one in the bass. We have some, for example, chords with the 7th on the bass and the 3rd on the bass. I'm gonna show you, for example, this example of the song Wave. Besides doing that, look, and 2, 5, 1. We play a different kind of 2-5-1 and reharmonization of 2-5-1. I'm sorry for the noise. No, it's okay. And we, for example, some more we could have this 2-5, and it's often reharmonized as like that. A progression that in samba would sound like that. Let's do. This progression played in Bossa Nova, we could change the tempo. Bossa Nova, it's common to use more tensions. The melody, it's more easy also. It's more cool without so many accents. Okay, for example. I played some typical progressions in Bossa Nova that has a very different sound from samba, and the melody also, it's not so accentuated. We have sometimes we use triplets, we have syncopations, but we with a killer use. It's interesting also to say to bass players that we also in bossa nova avoid doing upwards movements. A lot of people out of Brazil we prefer without so many accentuation. We prefer to repeat the notes. We prefer to then to play a upward note, okay? I think I gave you important reference about of both styles. The differences sometimes of the patterns we do in the guitar are subtle, but you can hear the context, you can hear the melody, the harmony, the instrumentation. These many factors will help you to understand. And today we are in the modern music. We are mixturing all these ideas. Sometimes making sambas with more harmony, and we can also play sometimes bossa nova with a little feel of samba. We can, with for example, I'm playing. And the second session of the music. We can mixture, do some experimentation when we play the piano, or when we are just making some arrangement. But it's interesting for. I recommend you always to hear for the traditional and the first composers of the style, because you're gonna see the difference like it is, and so you can adapt and create situations with some mixture or some new idea. All right, I think you like this subject we talk of today. If you have more questions, there are some I'm sorry, there are some topics of this subject that people don't have the same opinion, and you can ask me for. I can research in more literature about music and some records also. Be my guest to send questions, and we are gonna discover and more about Brazilian music. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.